you. I feel like we have the Township Fire Department here tonight. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming out. We're going to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, it is perhaps fitting that this get-together be within the 1 week of Thanksgiving. Because we give thanks for a lot here in Hamilton. One thing we cannot give enough thanks for are public safety officials, particularly our firefighters, both professional and volunteer, who protect and serve us to keep us safe in our homes and in our occupations. God particularly bless them and this family in this holiday season. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being held for the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Kenny?
Here.
Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Mr. Mastrangelo?
Here.
Mr. Ford?
Here.
Ms. Sherman?
Here. Okay. I'm going to start with a little opening statement here. I'm going to kind of walk, for those who may not be too familiar with what's going on, I'm just going to kind of walk you through a little bit as to where it started and how we got to where we are here today. And I have it in very big font, so I don't have to put on my reading glasses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hamilton Township Council First Fire Consolidation Informational Meeting. This is a historic meeting in Hamilton because Hamilton is now positioned to move forward with consolidation of all our fire districts. The purpose of the fire service consolidation is to provide you, the residents, the taxpayers, a fire service that is more efficient, provides higher level of safety for our firefighters, and is at the best cost possible. Fire consolidation of our 9 districts have been discussed for more than 30 years, probably longer than that. The change in the town and the growth in population has now rendered our current system inefficient. The district lines between houses are no longer adequate to service the changes in the town. These districts lines have been around and in existence for a long, long time. Having 9 separate and individual firehouses results in duplication of services, equipment, apparatus, along with each firehouse hiring their own attorneys, accountants, and so on. With each district has separate budgets. Each district has separate budgets which accounts for variations in the tax rates throughout the districts. Approximately 3 years ago, fire union leaders, along with a number of their members, made a presentation to council on the current state of the fire service and their concerns over safety and inefficiencies. The union, along with the members, made the decision that consolidation of the 9 firehouses would be in the best interest of the firefighters and the residents. In October of 2015, the leaders of the Hamilton Firefighters Union publicly announced their efforts to move forward in hopes of consolidation. The council from the very beginning has been in full support of consolidation and of their efforts. And we applaud each and every union member, each and every firefighter for having the guts to move this forward. So we really, really appreciate what you've been doing. Shortly after their announcement, they began the signature collection process, which required them to collect signatures of 5% of the registered voters in their districts. Those signatures then had to be submitted to our clerk's office for verification. This was a tedious process for our clerks who had to devote hours and hours to verify each and every signature. This past month, the final district was verified, and now all districts have been completed. As of November 15th, at the council meeting, council passed a resolution acknowledging the completion of the signatures. Last year, the announcement of the union leaders' desire to move forward with consolidation, Mayor Yady reached out to DCA, the Department of Community Affairs. DCA agreed to do the fire consolidation study for free and present that study to council. The study began after submission of the petitions by the fire unions, which occurred this past March. As of last Wednesday, DCA informed council that the study will be completed and available and handed to council either by the end of December or sometime in January. We're hoping for the beginning of January. What needs to be clear is that the report from DCA will serve as a guide, a blueprint for council to use. It is council, the governing body that has full authority over the consolidation process and the final say over the final decision. In consolidating, there are two scenarios we're looking at. One would be that the districts are consolidated into one municipal department overseen by the township. The other would be a non-municipal department. What will determine which one we choose to move forward with will depend on three things. One, the cost to the taxpayers. Two, efficiency and safety. And three, safety. This will not be a quick process, and this will take time. We are holding this meeting today because as governing body, we want to make sure you and all our residents are given opportunity to understand what is happening and why. Where we currently stand and how we plan to move forward. This meeting is an opportunity for you to hear from the union members, from firefighters, from commissioners, from captains, chiefs. It allows us to share information and to ask questions. Prior to the conclusion of this meeting, council will announce its plans on the next step and how we plan to move forward. I also would like to add that we understand consolidation is a huge, huge change. We know change can be very scary. There's anxiety, there's stress. We understand that. We hope that working together and communicating will help ease that transition, will help ease anxieties. So hopefully by working together and keeping the communications open and being honest with one another, we can create a fire service that could not only be appropriate for the firefighters, but for the residents, and that something that the firefighters can live with and be happy with. That's our goal, that's what I prayed for, but we have to do that together. So what we're going to do is, what I tried to do is to give you just an overview of how things started and how we got to where we are today. We are here today because union leaders and firefighters have the courage to say things have to change. And I applaud you guys for doing it. I applaud you guys because it's hard. It's hard to change things that have been in existence for so long. But we're here to help you, to work with you to get that done. This is new to us. We've never done this. You've never done this. So we're going to have to really go step by step and really work together as a team. That's the way I've always seen it. I think our fellow council members, I don't speak for them, I speak for myself, but I think that's how we feel. What I would like to do is, I know we have members of the unions, I know we have members of the public here too. If anyone from the districts would like to get up and speak, commissioners, chiefs, anyone, we'd like to limit it to one or at least two people from that district to speak, to try to keep moving the meeting along. We are here till 9 o'clock. We do get kicked out at 9 because the library closes. So that might be a good thing. So I think that's an agreement. Is you guys okay with that?
Absolutely.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the commissioner. We want to hear from people that have concerns over what can happen. This is your time to speak, really, because once we get the study, and I'm disappointed it's taking this long, but we are going to be receiving that study. It will help us look at what expenses we have, what the cost of this can be, what the scenarios can be, what the manpower will be, all the important things that we need to work out. But this is your opportunity to speak to us. Let us know your fears. Let us know if you're happy, if you're concerned, things that we should be thinking about, maybe, perhaps. Please come up and speak, okay? Sound good to everyone? Does anybody would like to come up and speak?
Is there signage?
No, just raise your hand and come on up. I don't even care for a signing sheet. Come on up. Yeah. And then when you come up, please state your name. Do we need address, Eileen? I'm sorry, do we need address? Yes, please.
Yes, please. Hello. My name is Joseph Zalesik, Z-A-L-E-S-C-I-K. Address is 2504 South Clinton Avenue. 08610. I am chairman of the board of Hamilton Township Fire District 3, and I am vice chairman of the Hamilton Township Fire Commissioners Association. Now, I know earlier you gave two scenarios as to what you are going to consider, whether a municipal department or a new fire district. Well, I want to give you a third scenario, and that is a scenario that Fire District 3 has been committed to for over a year, which would be Fire District 3 would survive as the lone district in Hamilton, and everything would filter in to an existing appointing authority, an existing district with union contracts for officers and firefighters. That way, we can guarantee the career staff that they would have a contract that they've already agreed to. Number two, the coordination of the services from the fire official and fire inspectors. We already have joint agreements with other districts throughout Hamilton Township for that service. And what I would look to from Hamilton, from the municipal government, would be some shared services for accounting, legal, human resources, and purchasing. I don't want to create a monster here, but what I'm saying is that we stand behind an existing district taking over the township, and then people would run at large. You know, it wouldn't be just Fire District 3 commissioners. The first election you have, whatever calculation is for whether it's 2 commissioners up for election or 1, that would be a township-wide election with multiple polling places. So that's what our commitment is, instead of reinventing the wheel and starting from scratch, because again, you would have too many unknowns. Also, I think we need to look at this being revenue neutral. You know, our districts run about $26, $27 million budgets, and we're in the budget process right now. So going forward to the future, I think you got to start with that number, $27 million, and see how it would work township-wide. In our research, we always look at this Cherry Hill model from 20 years ago. Well, what did Cherry Hill do? They closed fire stations. They alienated the volunteers. They closed the volunteer station. They only have 5 stations now in Cherry Hill. They have a budget similar to ours, though, and they also do EMS. So basically, I want to be brief. I'm going to give you a written statement, and I actually wrote up a chart as far as reporting, as far as organizational chart, and I think you got to consider that. Now, I know the report isn't out. I would have liked to have had that report from DCA to go over some of their ideas, because no matter what you do, DCA has to approve this process. And I appreciate you having this informational meeting. I know you got all the petitions and they're certified, but I'm just asking you to consider this third scenario. Thank you very much.
Jerry, just real quick,
Yeah.
why District 3 as opposed to some other district under your scenario?
Well, we're the oldest fire department in Hamilton. We actually started shared services agreements many years ago. We were the first to do that. And I think the career staff that we have is second to none. Everybody wants to work at District 3. We just hired a couple new guys. Probably 6 of the districts applied to work at District 3. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it's the oldest department in the township. That's one good reason, but what I'm saying is the management of Fire District 3 and what we've done over the years with saving money and keeping our tax rate as low as we can. I mean, we have the highest tax rate, we're 55. Same thing with DQ, it's 55. But look at what we've done over the years. We even have a tiller ladder now. We've had that 10 years, we just got a new one. We're actually trying to sell the old one, if anybody's interested. But again, I'm looking at this with shared services to be the way to get this to work properly. And that shared services has to be with the township. Okay.
Joe, I have a question regarding the tax rate you're talking about. You have the highest tax rate. Trying to think last year, the budgets that were turned down, District 3,
Ours passed.
Yeah, yours passed. So, right, so every year, have you seen a tax increase for the residents in your district?
Well, there has been an increase, yeah, and it's been within the cap. I mean, we've always been within the cap. With revaluation, that kind of changed everything anyway. You know, we went from 88 to 55, so, you know, but what you pay is the bottom line. You know, when I got my reassessment, I'm paying more because my house is worth more, even though the tax rate went down. You know, it's what you pay. You know, if it's $800 a year for fire service, that's what you pay. If it's $1,000, that's what you pay. I mean, it's just, you know, again, I know there is some unfairness about the tax rates. I think the average is like 35 now if you put them all together. Some districts would go up, others would go down. If you went municipal, then it would be under your tax rate, and we wouldn't have a fire district tax. So, is that it?
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Joe, I want to thank you, and I'm not going to question you, but thank you because I think this is exactly the type of thing we want to hear at a forum like this. Other ideas. We don't know the answers. We want to hear from other folks about how to provide this service. One thing too, it's very important for anybody who's coming up speaking. Please assume that none of us, or assume that all of us need educating. We need to build the case, no matter which way we go in this, that there's a need for consolidation, that things cannot stay the same. I think most people are ambivalent at this point because they don't know. They don't know the crying need for some sort of readjustment to the fire service. And we start, all of us in this room, have to start building the consensus that something has to be done to bring the provision of fire service into the 21st century, whether it's, as Joe mentioned, or the other plans. Please, when you come up to the microphone, address the concerns and how the system has evolved to make the provision of fire service that much more difficult for the professionals, the volunteers, and the administrators of the fire service. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam. Also, I want to thank everybody for being here. First of all, it's great, you know, that there's so many, so many people interested in this in the town. And I think for me, the point that was brought up that I think we've all been concerned about is the unequal tax rate throughout the town. And I think that's one of the pressing reasons, I think, among many, that consolidation is important. I think it's been patently unfair that some areas pay more taxes than others for essentially exactly the same service. So for me, that's a big issue, and that's going to play to the forefront for me. Also for me, I think it's well known that most people are very satisfied with the fire service in Hamilton. That's a given. When I talk to people about what we're doing and about some of the discussions we've had, I don't know anybody that's not happy with the fire service that they get. So I want to commend all of you that fight fires in Hamilton Township. You clearly do a great job. So I want to see if we can keep our fire service at the end of this at least as good as it is now, but more efficient and equal and fair for all the Hamilton Township taxpayers. That's really my goal. And that's really the bottom line for us. It's a very simplistic thing, and the devil's in the details, we know. But, Dave Kenny and I, for instance, we've literally been talking about this for 11 years. And John Benzavango actually was kind of geared up to do this. And we had met with people and talked about it. And those reasons that I just brought up have not changed one bit. It's exactly the same thought process, is that we can do fire service at least as well as we do it now, more efficiently, and equalize the tax rate for all the residents of Hamilton Township. That's fair. And I think it's time to be more fair.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come up? Got it done?
Good evening. You have a lot of courage doing what you're doing. I was on council in 2000, 2004. We spoke about it, nobody ever did nothing. Coming from one of the largest, probably municipal unions in the city of New York, I was a Teamster rep. Had a lot of friends in the fire department, a lot of delegates in the fire department, police department. I spoke to them about this. And I just want to let the firemen know something, and you know something. A municipal department, number one is I have respect for Mr. Zalesik, but that was so far out that I can't even comprehend what he said. When you have a municipal department, everybody's treated the same. You're all gonna have the same seniority, you're all gonna have the same pay, you're all gonna have the same vacation, everything's gonna be equal. And anything that's gonna be done is gonna go through your union. So you have one union, you're all represented the same, and everything's gonna be way fairer than what's going on right now. You got 9 districts, 9 separate pay, everything is different. Don't ever be afraid, okay, to think of having one municipal union. You might be under the mayor's control or whatever like that, but your union's gonna have a lot of power. Fire department in New York has a lot of power. A lot of power. It's not like, you know, you're gonna give up something and the mayor's gonna tell you what to do all the time. It's not gonna work that way. So that's one thing that I wanted to speak to you about tonight. So don't be afraid of a municipal department, because it's gonna be way fairer than what it is now, and run more efficiently and way more safely. That's number one. Number two, I'd like District 9 to come up and explain, okay, to the public, why they're having a referendum so soon in next week about spending $3 million for repairs. I got a lot of calls from people in Yardville. They're a little upset because they really don't know what's going on. You haven't sent anything out to the public, any notification. Okay, you might do it on your website or whatever like that, but, okay, well, it seems like in this town, and probably all over Jersey, if you're gonna have a referendum, all of a sudden it pops up. The Board of Education, $54 million. They don't even want to talk about it. I told the super, you better have a press conference. He agreed. All right, and I told him that you better go around, you better let everybody know what the $54 million is going to be spent for. I don't care, okay, if the voters vote for it or they don't vote for it, they should know what's going on. All right? The same thing with District 9. I heard that they're going to save a lot of money because their mortgage is up or whatever. And people came to me and said to me, hey, Vinny, if the mortgage is up, how come that money isn't going to be used for a tax cut? Why are they spending the $3 million? And how many people know about the referendum coming up Saturday? I don't think that's fair to the public. I don't care if it gets passed or not. All right? If it gets passed, it gets passed. I'm not going to tell people not to vote for it or to vote for it. But you're not being fair to the public, okay, when it comes to like notifying the public. And I think there should be either a state statute or an ordinance that states if you're gonna have a special election, that people should be notified by mail. One more thing. You seem to be waiting for this state, okay, to give you, I guess, their study. We had a study, okay, when I was on council, we roughly had the what is it, Detroit data, whatever it is, study. It was thrown in the garbage can. You have enough intelligence here in your fire department, okay? You have people in this fire department that know better than anybody how to consolidate. You got Mr. Flanagan back there, okay, that I think, and I've known for years, okay, and a lot of my friends have known for years, and a lot of people that I know that are really experts in a lot of different things, that think he's one of the best minds that you have when it comes to public safety. So, you know, to wait for a study, okay, by a bureaucratic system that's gonna keep on stalling and stalling, You have the people right here, okay, that can tell you how to proceed, what to do, okay? And these are the ones, okay, that it all has to be finalized with. You can't move ahead. This is my opinion, okay? I ain't telling you what to do. But I'm telling you as a union rep, okay, up in New York City, that the man don't get nothing done. He got nothing done unless he sat down with the rank and file, with the union, okay, and everything was okay, right to the last dot on the I and the cross of the T.
Thank
All
you.
right? Thank you.
Thank you. I know you bring up municipal department, and I know there have been some people that have expressed to me concerns about if you go municipal, what happens to collective bargaining? Nothing happens to collective bargaining. You are still a union, just like the police officers are. They, right? Exactly. So,
Well, they would still, but they would petition to have a bargaining unit, and bargaining unit with, we have unions with almost all of our employees in Hamilton Township.
so that would,
And the state constitution guarantees the availability of collective bargaining for all state employees. It's cut and dry.
So I just want to make sure that gets out there because that has been expressed to me by a number of people. You're not going to lose that. That's yours. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Mark Kandrak, K-A-N-D-R-A-C. I'm a resident at 6 Tartier Drive in Fire District 6, Hamilton. I'm also a retired fire captain from Fire District 2, the Mercerville area, and I'm honored and humbled to have served the residents and visitors of Hamilton for nearly 32 years. That all being said, I commend the locals also for their efforts. Having been a union officer myself over the years, I was part of previous township administration studies and committees to try to make this work, and has been hashed out long enough. It just didn't get done back then. So I'm glad to see that something is being done now on behalf of not only the residents, but these guys who really put their lives on the line for each and every one of us. My question for you is more that I would like to know if I could get some kind of assurance from Township Council. We have, I'm going to guess, around 35 or 40 retired firefighters from the various fire districts across town, most of whom have benefit coverage in retirement that is paid for by the individual fire districts. In the event of a consolidation and dissolution of a consolidation of the current districts, which would pretty much dissolve the current entities, I would like to know if you can offer some kind of assurance to the retirees who have earned these benefits, throughout the course of their employment, an assurance that somehow would be transferred to whatever entity, whether it's municipal, whether it's a new fire district, whether it's an existing fire district, that would be assumed by whatever entity that is the same way you would do or absorb any other debt service.
And that's a great question.
Mark, can I have a little bit of information? Are these retirees part of PFRS?
Some are part of PFR.
Some
Most are part
PERS?
of police and fireman retirement systems. Some are part of public employees.
PRS, okay.
Years ago, the fire districts in Hamilton Township, for whatever reason, and across the state, were excluded from being in PFRS.
Oh.
Legislation was drafted actually by our own Senator Pete Versa, who worked very hard for us in that, to take care of all the cops and firemen across the state that were in public employees, to allow them to transfer into police and fire. Today, the only way you can be a police officer or a firefighter, with very few exceptions, is to be eligible for police and fire. So we do have some that are public employees too, but that doesn't take away the fact that they still work 25 or 30, in some cases 40 years of devoted service to town.
Off the top of my head, I would say you're probably protected, but I think we ought to do, maybe the report will deal with it.
Well, Mark, I guess the critical issue would be health benefits from the
Yeah.
time you retire until you would hit
Because of
Medicare
coverage.
and then beyond.
Yeah,
Then
what we
some.
have, now, I would just, if all of a sudden, where I'm from, well, I'm actually under my wife is a state employee, so I've waived them from Fire District 2 in retirement.
Well, we can keep that for you.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah, we guarantee that one.
Just stay married.
See, I knew you would like me. Yeah. That's why they sent me up here. But in the event Fire District 2, is no longer there, we do have a number of retirees there that do have it, as does every fire district except North Crosswoods District 1. They're covered by, I believe, the Burlington County.
But, I don't know. I don't know if we can guarantee anything
Not a
tonight.
guarantee, sir. I'll
But-
repeat myself in assurance.
But I think, we've had many discussions, in our public sessions, regular council meetings about these sorts of things. And I don't think anyone up here has any intention of hurting anyone.
Right.
So I think it is our goal, not only for what you speak of, but when the idea of layoffs and things of that nature come up. Those things are, for me, and I think in our discussions is pretty much all of us, that's at the very bottom of the list. I think today, because we're just not really getting started, we've had a lot go on up to this point, but in terms of the conversation, I think you still have to lay everything on the table for now. But I know for me, those are as far down on the bottom of the table as you can get. They're not going to be touched if they absolutely need to be. So that's me speaking. I'm not speaking from other council members, but
So someone who's worked 25 and has earned those benefits should never lose those benefits.
As far as me, coming from a police background, obviously, I think you know where I'd go with this. That would be 100%.
Yeah, most importantly, like you said, this is an awareness, an informational night. Perhaps you didn't realize there were 35 or 40
You're the
of us
first one to bring
retared.
this up.
And
great information.
You're the
And
first one to
these
bring
guys
this
are
up.
doing a great job, and they're aware of our situation too. I know they're, but we have no bargaining through that by law. We're just retired firefighters that are happy and honored that we had an opportunity to be of service to you all. So I thank you for your support and your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
And that's the kind of information that is so important for us to hear, little things that perhaps we didn't think about or we're not aware of. So please, if you think of something, let us know. We need to know that, because as we move forward looking at the data, and I'm not talking about just DCA data, the data we're going to look at. Along with DCA, these are things we have to think about too. So if there's something maybe we haven't thought about, please by all means share it.
Council President.
Yes, yeah.
Chief.
Awesome.
Chris Dozzi, 18 Mount Drive. I'm not going to speak operationally. The chiefs have endorsed Chief Anazeski, who will represent us from the operational standpoint. I'm not going to say I'm quite insulted that District 3 wants to take over the whole fire district department. Again, we went through that. I could pitch why District 2 should take over, and I'm sure District 4 can follow, maybe not. However, that was unscripted, so. This has been a long process for us, and I know that this is the first meeting of it, but it's been, I know that the union has done an incredible amount of work over 3 years, 4 years, I think it's becoming difficult. Chief Anazeski has a referendum out there. The district's business doesn't stop. The referendum's out there prior to the budget, because if you lose the referendum, you've got all the stuff you couldn't, I just went through this, all the stuff you couldn't fix in that referendum, you now have to put in the budget and take care of those issues. So I'm not pathetic there, Chief, I understand what you went through. We did the same thing. We all seem to be in agreement that we need one fire department in this township. I don't think I think we've gotten over that hurdle. I'd like to see a fire district, and the reason I like to see a fire district is because it is such a huge undertaking. We're a rudderless ship in the sense of the council's business is not just the fire department. You have the police department, everything else. Nothing else is stopped. Nothing's stopped for us as chiefs either. We're still running. The absence of long-range planning is driving me insane. My OCD is killing me. There's apparatus that need to be purchased. There's big referendums to fix buildings. This hasn't stopped. This should promulgate. This should light the fire for us to really start moving on this. And my suggestion would be, I should say this while I still have the chance, I'm not an employee of whatever the new fire department is. Please don't give us a director. Director, if you look in the city of Trenton, we do not need a political appointment that has no experience or any business, and I'm not about the Trenton director, but incentive directors telling us how to run the fire department. We have Chief Aniszewski and a lot of great chiefs in this department that can help run with the help of the union representation and build a really nice fire department. I don't know if that DCA study is going to help at all. What I'm asking is, I believe the council appoints the first 5 commissioners of the new board. Is that a correct statement?
I think that's probably a little murky, because the statutes are awfully vague on dissolution, and then they don't even really address too much the creation of a new district.
So, if I may pose a suggestion that there be 5 appointees from the council that would represent the council. Let them make the pitch on we're a paramilitary organization, I digress. For all of us to have an opinion right now is not going to work for us. It doesn't work in the fire department. We don't work by opinion. We work by a hierarchy. We're the 5-second democracy. What do you want to tell me? Let me make the decision. We need to start working for a chief, one chief, so we can get that rudder in the water and start steering the ship. If you can appoint those 5 commissioners, if that's possible, and put that chief in the room with those 5 commissioners, I can do a lot of work for Chief Aniszewski when he tasks me with a specific job and what he wants to see. Right now, you have 5 chiefs that are working very well together, but they have different opinions. It's not an opinion-based field. So my suggestion would be, one of the suggestions, as opposed to merging a District 3 or any, is one fire district, the 5 appointees. Take the civil service chief, who is Chief Aniszewski by seniority, sorry chief, but I did it right here in public. Let him run, and highly qualified, runs a great department over there. Let him run our new department. Let the union meet with him. Let them start hammering out these issues that they can come back before we pull the trigger and let the council know what their plan is. Because if we keep